What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to Dungeon Defenders 2. When it comes to putting in the grind, we all know about it. If you're playing through to endgame in Dungeon Defenders 2, you know all about the grind. Now, you have to do one of two things. Either find the most efficient way to grind it out and lull yourself into a state of grindiness that is unmatched in many games, or you can find a way to try to add in a little fun and flavor to your various builds. Now, I've gotten over and over again over the last several weeks, do a video without Fissures. Well, I mean, for me, Fissures are the go-to grinder. That's just what I use if I'm offline and not creating content and just grinding it out on my accounts. There's a pretty high probability that I'm just spamming Fissures. It's just all there is to it. You set up one defense and go. You don't require setting up a million different defenses with diverse. You can just do the one defense and really make things happen. Today, however, we are going to prioritize fun, and one of the funnest additions over the last couple of years in Dungeon Defenders 2 is, without a doubt for me, the mighty Dragon's Nest from the Countess. Now, before we get into today's video, this video was brought to you by Duville, so I do appreciate the opportunity to sponsor this video, and let's hear a word from them. Today's video is brought to you by Duville from Project Whitecard. Duville is a story-based casual adventure game that is available to play in standard or VR modes and is available for Steam, VR, and also on the Oculus App Labs. Duville is in early access and still getting additions, but currently offers 3 individual episodes for an adventure for everyone. Whether you want to go on a mystery-filled vacation to Juniper Beach, rescue Bigfoot Mountain from destruction, or time travel to Dino Gulch, there will always be an adventure there waiting for you. The game plays smoothly and feels like a complete experience whether you're playing it on standard or on VR, and features delightful voice acting throughout the game. So if you were looking for a diverse and fun story mode adventure that will make you use your head and think about what's going on, Duville may be one that you want to check out. Links, of course, are down in the description below. Now jumping right on into the build. There's lots of ways to build the Dragon's Nest. I personally am going with defense rate, anti-melee, and anti-chaos, double stacking destruction, of course, and using Dragon's Haste. Now, without having a defense rate shard, of course, this means I've got to have a 10 out of 10 Chaos 8 or higher quality defense rate servo to get down to the speed cap on the Dragon's Nest. Now, this particular map is a fun farmer. It seems to offer a pretty good amount of gold and has just been overall a good time. And if you look at the map, you can really divide it up into 3 areas. Or you know what, before we even do that, let's protect our sub-objectives with some reflect beams, and that way we can look at what the DU is left and kind of make some decisions on what we want to do. One thing with the Dragon's Nest is it can get pricey, as you're just going to want to spam a million of them. So if you are, if you're not careful, you're going to run through your DU super quick. I think this is going to be more than sufficient as far as protection. And then looking, we basically have 1,000 DU left. We spent 80 here to get some basic protections in place. With 1,000 DU left and 3 areas that we want to build, we've basically got, 300 DU and some change. Now, with 300 DU and some change, what can you put down? Well, first off, you're going to want, do I have Destructive Pylon going? I do, okay. So you're going to want to get your defenses down. You're going to want to buff those defenses with a boost or a buff beam or both. And you're going to want to get Destructive Pylon in. So for 300 DU per lane, what can we do? Well, we can go something like, say this. Let's go, do we want to go 4? Let's go like 4 Dragon's Nests right here. We'll then put in, the 4 Dragon's Nests are going to be 200 DU. And then say we threw in a boost aura. Actually, let me throw the boost back here. We'll throw in like a boost aura and then a lightning strikes aura for the destructive pylon. We're now going to have everything we need. We're under that 300 DU limit. In fact, we're so far under it, we can actually probably throw in another Dragon's Nest. So let's just go ahead and put one more right here. Now we're slightly over on this lane. We went 310 DU here. But of course, we did have a little bit of change to play with on that one. Now, remember, that's a double lane, so that's not a 300 DU lane. That's 310 DU covering 2 lanes. So it gives you a little bit more diversity because the Dragon's Nest is capable of covering so much more than just the one lane. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. We'll throw... Let's just throw our 4 in here, because here we get a little double dip opportunity. So we get the chance to have 2 sets of Dragon's Nests covering 3 lanes. So we get 1.5 lanes of protection, basically, from each stack of Dragon's Nests. And then, just for simplicity's sake, we want to do the same thing here. Yeah, let's just do the same thing here. And then we'll take a look and see what we've got left over. So we'll go boost our, we'll get our destructive pylon in. That actually leaves quite a bit of DU left over. Of course, the sky's the limit with what you want to do with that. You can add in some last resort crowd control, get a little petrify in for anything that makes it through. You could throw in some, say, buff beams. You know, we can drop some buff beams right on top of all this and get even a little bit more power out of the deal. What if we were able to go... I didn't build thinking I was going to use buff beams here. So, can we get all of them if we went across this way? We might be able to get them all. Let's take a peek and see if we can get them. Of course, the buff beam is just a way to stack even just a little bit more power. Now, we're clearly going to be getting that one, but are we going to be getting this one? Yeah, looks like we're actually getting them all there. So, we can drop some buff beams in just for a little bit extra juice here. These lanes, of course, are going to be a little easier to get those buff beams working. We can throw one there, and then we'll say throw one... do we want to go across the middle like that? Yeah, I think so. Just get it as close in there as we can. And go something like that. Let's make sure we're getting them all here as well. Yeah, we're at 12.5 and at 12.5 there, so we're getting all the stuff. We still got a bunch of DU left, so sky's the limit. Do what you want. I feel like this is going to be more than enough to get this map completed, but more importantly, it's something a little bit different and fun with a defense that is just arguably one of the coolest defenses in the game. I mean, who doesn't want some crazy little dragons flying around blasting everything? Now, the natural addition for this type of setup, of course, would be to add in some oil. If you got some oil in the mix, you're then going to get that ignite combo, because these dragons, of course, are the fire, and that is going to give you a little bit more damage. You see those reflect beams getting a payday in right there. Now, as with any map, we are going to want to keep an eye out for those lovely, lovely berserkers, as berserkers got a zerk, y'all. Same as always. So we're going to keep an eye out on them. Of course, as we get some upgrades in play, the zerkers will be a little bit less of an issue, but let's definitely add in a little bit of help when it comes to the berserkers. Damn berserkers, I tell ya. Looks like we were able to clear it out without any problems, though. As I mentioned, once we get some upgrades in, it will be an entirely different story. Now, when it comes to farming this map, of course, we've got a boss that can be hit by defenses. So the boss experience on this map is going to be way, way different, just because of the nature of how the lovely little dragon's nests work. They're going to have the potential to fly all over the place. So, yeah, love me a little bit of dragon's nest action. I personally just think it is really one of the coolest defenses in the game. You know, we've all got our favorites. The dragon's nest is definitely one that can be used to farm Chaos 9 content without question, though, and get yourself all of the fat loot. So let's just go ahead and spray it around a little. We got some nice upgrades in place, and let's see how we do. Now we've got some upgrades in. Now, once again, if I got that oil in, just throwing an oil geyser in up front, oh, it would be just a worlds different here, as it would just allow that ignite combo to take over and really give us a ton of bonus damage. Taking a look, though, we are getting it done. Checking out the mini-map. The other side of the map is just getting straight face rolled. This is like the only side of the map we've got to look at all. And it's only going to get stronger as we get more and more upgrades in. So, good stuff here from the Dragon's Nest. But let's go ahead and bounce on forward and see how these guys do in that boss-type situation. Alright, before we even do that, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's take a look at the full beast mode value. So we've got 70 DU left. We can throw in 3 squirties, right? What if, just what if, we put a squirty at the front of these 2 lanes? Say something like that. And then we just pick a lane over here, since we can't do all of them with the build that I used. Say this eroded cave is going to have a captain. Let's get a squirty on that one too. So let's just throw a squirty, say like right there. Let's get that oil out there, and let's throw a few more upgrades in. I ended up not upgrading anything over here past that initial upgrade. So let's throw some upgrades in here, maybe. And then we'll do the same thing here as well. Looking good. All right, now let's check it out with the Ignite in the mix. Let's see. Oh, Berserkers died. The Berserkers died without me looking at them. So yeah, the Ignite combo, it's just a raw damage multiplier. It's like getting a free 25% anti-mod added into your build. That's just a result of the combo and requires no gear. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Anytime you're using fire damage, get some oil in the mix. Get that Ignite combo going and let the power really fly here. You know, it's not full AFK. You know, on these shorter lanes like this, you will have to pay attention. But now, let's take a look at our bossery. See if we can throw any more kind of last resorts in over here. We can get a few more upgrades over here. No? Yeah, we can get another one there. And then, of course, we got the boss man. So let's check it out. Now, remember, this particular boss, we're going to be able to get some damage in on him with our defenses. So, never a bad idea to get your Dragolich going up in his business. And then, you know, this one's all about the line of sight. We see the damage is not intense because he does have that meaty damage reduction shield. But our defenses are getting it done. So, if we just play the kind of the peak in and out game, well, we're losing a subcore to something. What was it? Oh, it was a Cannon Ogre, it looks like. Or no, it wasn't the Cannon Ogre. I think we may have lost it to a Berserker, perhaps? But anyway, with the Dragon's Nest, we still got that damage going on the boss, even though we're just kind of ran around the map and was doing whatever we wanted there for a minute. We still had a little bit of boss damage going on. It's just tickling, you know, with that big meaty damage reduction shield, but even the tickle damage adds up over time. Allows you to kind of do whatever you want throughout the map. Standing in front of the tornadoes is probably never a glorious idea, but it's just another example of watching that boss burn from your little dragons that are going to be able to pretty much hit him no matter where he goes throughout the entire map. Let's go ahead and get a little Drago action on him. And there we go. Just a little bit of fun mixing it up. So, you know, it's always nice to put together a super efficient farm build. And that is really what I suggest people do. But if you're not a particular grinder, if you don't really enjoy putting on the massive grind that grind games have to offer, and you want to diversify it a little, remember there are things out there for you that allow you to still get the win and get things done while adding in a little different fun and flavor into your builds. But that will do it for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.